Thursday afternoon, everybody. Time for the shop update here at Woodsmith. We've got quite a few things going on, and some of us pulled out all the clamps for today. We'll get started with Mark Hopkins and his update.
Yep. Hi everyone, so I'll show you the archstock bookcase that I got finished on Monday in a little bit. But let's go over my next project that I started on. So another Dylan designed project, it's the Waterfall nightstand. So I'm working my way through making parts and doing some joinery on the panels. So this is going to consist mostly of walnut. We've got walnut sides, and then on the front it's going to be MDF, and then there's going to be some cool veneer work on the front of the door especially, and the top. So if you can zoom in there, with the veneer we've got, we're going to make it on a 45, just for something different. And then on the top, it's just going to be straight. We've got two different kinds of walnut veneer. So I'm going to get cracking with that after I've done the rest of the woodwork. Got the side pieces done, working on the joinery, the grooves. Once they're done, I'll be working on this moulding that goes on the front for the legs. As you see, the side pieces have the legs actually part of the actual side, so I'll be cutting them out later today, and then that's going to be glued up with the dividers, and then I can work on veneering the MDF for the door and the top. So lunch break project in between is I'm working on a table for my wife's office. I got done with making the pedestal. So if you checked in last week, I was in the process of sanding 60 of these rounded over strips of walnut. They are glued and nailed onto a frame that consists of Baltic birch in 4 different sections on the inside that is pinned on there. This top piece is MDF, and I've edge banded it with walnut and out of veneer the underside of it last night because I couldn't find any walnut veneered MDF in our rack. Luckily we had some veneer, so it was all about veneering last night, and then did the same with the base, just wrapped the edges with the edge banding. So the pedestal's all done. The next step is to work on the top. As Phil said, I've stolen all the clamps for gluing 2 pieces of 1/2-inch veneered MDF together. Once the glue's gone off, I'm going to get the trammer with a plunge router and then make a 44-inch diameter circle, and that will be the top. When that's cut out, I will be edge banding around that like I have done on the pedestal. So getting closer with that, and then I think I'm just going to lacquer it. So I'll be pretty close with that. Probably Monday. I'm going to work on the weekend getting this finished. Okay, follow me. Let's go and see the archstock bookcase that I got wrapped up earlier in the week. So if you've been watching the last several weeks on a Thursday, I've been showing you the process of what's involved with this archstock bookcase. Made out of cherry, plywood sides, and we used 2 3/8 pieces of bendy plywood to form the top. I had a form that I made out of MDF to clamp the 2 pieces that were glued, laminated together to make that shape. And then once the main structure was all done and glued together, the fun part was the 12-foot long piece of cherry veneer that took 4 of us to tackle. And we started on the bottom here and then went all the way over the top. There was me, Steve, Phil's up a ladder trying to feed it over, and then once that was all done, I had to put a face frame around the whole edge covering the raw plywood. We used gunstock varathane stain to stain it, and then just a couple of coats of lacquer. So really happy how it turned out. It's a pretty sharp project, so I think that is all I've got going on. So next week we'll be further along with the project I'm working on.
I'm teaching a class with workers on Saturday.
All right, well, welcome back, everybody. So I finally wrapped up the French curve set here. I think for the last couple of weeks now, you've seen the final product for the curves themselves. However, I was kind of stalling out on just getting some parts ready to assemble the box. And really the more complicated part of that was creating a template to use to create the recesses for the individual curves to go in. So take this larger one out here. It might be a little difficult to see. Of course, I'm just making it worse by putting my fingers on it. But I went ahead and used a 1/2 inch piece of Baltic birch for the core here. I made a template that just went straight down, double stick tape on the face of this, and then just used a hinge mortising bit, excuse me, I don't know why it was lost on me, to create the shallow recess for these. These are a little over 1/8 of an inch or right around. So I created them a little deeper to account for the flocking. You'll notice the top here is black. You can get flocking in several different colors. You apply an adhesive that's the same color as the flocking. As a learning tip in this, and I was warned about this before I did it, you want to apply the adhesive very liberally, because as you're pumping the flocking on there, you need something for it to stick to. The other thing too, on the Baltic birch tends to be pretty porous and really dry, so I think some of the adhesive soaked into the wood too, which didn't really help in my favor. So to maybe even alleviate from that, other than applying a liberal amount of the adhesive, Mark had actually mentioned putting a finish on there, so you have a really nice smooth surface that's non-absorbent, and so again, you may not have to put as much adhesive on there, just a word of the wise. But again, a lot of the work just kind of went into creating the template to make sure that these would be a snug fit. Everything was derived from the originals, and so I just spent a lot of time, hand cutting, filing, and fine tuning these the way I wanted them to where I was happy, and then everything was kind of subsequent to that. Outside of that, the framing for the box is really simple. I just did a long piece of cherry that we had laying around, mitered it. There's a groove all the way around to, again, enclose the panel there. And then I just bought an 1/8 inch piece of acrylic, clear acrylic, and just used a strip to blend in the sides here. Close it up. Again, it's getting a little dirty. Just the more you touch it, it kind of just acts like a magnet. But I figured it'd be a nice way to display them. You spend enough time on these, they're kind of an art piece, even though they're functional tools and part of the shop. It keeps the dust off them. It also, again, like I said, acts as a display piece. If you want to tuck it in a drawer, you can. Set it on a shelf. If you want to stand it up like this, you can. Otherwise, the design has a French cleat on the back, so if you're somebody that wants to display them on the wall, you can do that as well. Really happy with the way they turned out. Currently, I'm in the process of creating the French curves themselves in the computer, which has been proved to be a little bit of a challenge, just because the program we use, you can create organic shapes, but it can be challenging. So what I ended up doing was using a scanner. I scanned these templates into the computer as either a JPEG or a TIFF file, and then I can import those into my 3D program. I can create a scale, bring the photo up so that it is scalable, and I actually just draw on top of it. So the process of doing that in the computer is actually very similar to what I did here, where I'm just using the original as my template for everything else that's subsequent to it. So look forward to this being a project. Otherwise, moving forward, I'm working on an architect or drafter's cabinet, and then I have a model that I've mentioned the last couple of weeks too that I have not made much progress on. So once this gets wrapped up for modeling, I'll be making some good progress on the next issue. So we'll talk about that next week.
Right, there you are. It's the shop update here at Woodsmith. If you have any questions, comments, or smart remarks, you can leave those in the comments section below, and we'll see you next week. Bye.